And we're live with Jonathan and Julia, who are both looking very nice this evening. And
I'm not feeling very nice. I was quite sick earlier.
Oh, thank you for spoiling the narrative. Right. So welcome. Julia is what MBTI would call an ISFJ. What functions would say SiFe. Socionics would say Dumas or Dumas. Or Victor would call the mediator, part of the Alpha Quadra, go Team Alpha, best Quadra. If we take the ENTP out of it, it'd be the best Quadra. But they sort of bring down the quality of the Quadra a little bit. Right, so we have, so this is a little funny drawing from a book called Enneagram Made Easy by Elizabeth Wakely and Rennie Barron, and it sort of like demonstrates the personality traits. So for instance here, I love this one here. Not enough food groups represented here, because I see it as a criticism of the drawing. And so I love that kind of self-referential humor. And so this is Jonathan. Jonathan is a perfectionist. He is a Yesenian, but a perfectionist. And then so see here, this type here, the type 2, it's so great to feel needed. And then the type 3, I need to eat and run, I'm swamped, because they're all about success, achievement. This is the Enneagram type 4, cheap caviar, shocking. They're like the Dostoevsky that is very well, any type that's artistic. And then the 5, it's this is usually the shy Robespierre. It's a talkative group. Good, that gets me off the hook. Type 6, usually this is the type that worries quite a bit and is quite insecure. And any type can be it. The type 7 is all about having fun. First I'll eat, then take some pictures, then go to my class. And so it's a little bit like the ENTP, a little bit like Don Quixote, a little bit like Napoleon, a little bit like Zukov, a little bit like Huxley. And then this is the 8 here. This is a bit like Zukov. Zukov can be this type as well, with aggressive, pass it down, pass it all down. And then your type could also be this one as well, the 9, which is called the peacemaker, where they want everybody to be together and nice and calm. And then we have another little drawing. Now here is a funny, as luck would have it, I have some information from the book on the Enneagram type 2, and so we can connect with how well you connect with it. We will have a look at this, the typical thoughts of a 2. Let's see how much this matches you, Julia.
Is it too much attention? How can we get the right thing? Otherwise, we will help them out. Yes, it's close to my feelings, to my emotions. Did I take too much attention for myself? Yeah. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings. Yeah.
So if we look at these bullet points, we can see how close this matches you. I'm sorry about it not being so sharp, but there we go. So let's see how well you fit this.
Yeah, that's right. But you know, at the first point, yes, I'm able to relate easily to people, but you know, I don't have a lot of close friends. Just I can be in good relationships with people, but you know, maybe they will not be my close friends. Like here to written is to make friends, you know. I don't know. Maybe I will be in good relationships with them, but they're not maybe too close to me. Just, you know, I don't have a lot of close friends, so.
Jonathan, are you able to jump in here and add some depth to that reply from Julia?
Well, the problem with type 2 is that it does sound a bit iffy at times, so it's a little difficult to tell an ISFJ who is a type 2 from one who isn't, because ISFJs will always seem a bit like a type 2, if you understand. I was wondering, do you have any anxiety? Do you have any problem with anxiety?
Sorry?
I'll interpret. Julia, do you have any problems with anxiety?
With what?
Anxiety.
What is it?
I think being worried, fearful.
Faithful?
Fearful, afraid.
Fearful?
Afraid, worrying. Do you worry a lot?
Scared. Scared.
Scared? Maybe write me somewhere in Facebook. Just drop me there.
Okay, Jonathan will do that. He can do that in the side.
I can become good to comprehend it.
Yeah. I'll look in the dictionary. Afraid.
Afraid. Afraid of what?
In general, do you just generally?
Just generally, yes. I have yeah, very often I have such a feelings of fear. Yeah, that's right.
Even if is it about anything in particular, or do you just feel afraid sometimes and then wonder where it's coming from?
No, you know, I fears about future. I don't know, about relationships with people. For example, that someone. No, yeah, like I said to Ben, also I'm afraid to be too obtrusive for people. For example.
Too optimistic.
No, obtrusive. She feels she might be interfering too much.
Yeah, interfere to disturb people. Yeah, I'm afraid of it. For example, this.
Do you want people to think that you're a good person? I mean, you probably do, but
yes, that's right.
It matters though, like, that they see you as a good person. Does it? Sorry.
Can you repeat one more time? Because you know, just
Yeah.
maybe more slowly.
It's all right. Does it matter a lot to you that other people see you as a good person? I mean, do you like?
Yes.
Yes, and
yes, it's important for me, of course. I want to be good. Yeah.
But do you
sometimes
also
too much.
Do you want to be seen as good? Like, do you want to be the one who is helping people, even if someone else can help? Do you want it to be you instead? Like, do you ever get jealous if someone else is helping someone?
Yeah, sometimes it happens. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what type 2 is all about. It's about healthy type 2s want to be good, but the average type 2s can also want to be seen as good. Like, they want to be seen as helpful.
And so, Julia, if somebody studies Enneagram Type 2, I think it actually gives some more nuances on FE as a function. Because then you can sort of you get the extra depth from looking at something from a different angle. Then you sort of learn extra things, I think, about FE types. Do you think that's fair enough to say, Jonathan?
Yes.
So, what about this drawing? Now, Elizabeth Wagley and Rennie Barron did this drawing, Julia. What do you think of the drawing?
May I see one more this picture?
Well, on the picture, if you
Yeah.
click on my square, then you'll be able to see that you have this woman here. She's been helping people so much that she's absolutely
I
exhausted.
hope I'm keeping your choice. You know, no, if I don't know about me, I will not help so much. I think because my comfort is too important for me too. Sometimes, you know, I think, but I have to love someone or to be, I don't know. No, I will help too much to one person if this person will be very significant for me. You know,
Right.
I think.
Well, that makes sense. Very wise.
Right.
So let's see how well you connect to these bullet points. So do you sometimes have a problem not being able to say no?
Yes, that's right. This problem for me to say no sometimes difficult. Having low self-esteem too. May I see more these things, this stuff, text? Yeah, feeling.
You'd like to see some more? Okay, I can. I can direct you to the. I'll be able to direct you to the website to buy the book. Although, or that's what I say in the hangout, but I'll say something different after the hangout. Right. Right. Is this the way it's covered in this book, Jonathan? The Enneagram Made Easy. Is it fair enough?
Yeah, it's a nice introduction.
Yeah, it's a great way of introducing people to the Enneagram. And it's a funny book. It's good for showing to normal people who are not obsessed by theories and such like. So it's a good book to show to sensing types.
Do you have low self-esteem sometimes?
Yes, that's right. I have such a problem. Sometimes I have too low.
What about, do you ever feel drained because you're doing too much for other people?
What does it mean? Actually, I don't understand it too much. So good. Feeling drained from overdoing for others.
Like,
Well, it's like
you're
this.
being...
It's like this diagram here. It's just like helping people so much.
So
that
much.
You don't have enough time for yourself. Because
You know, I think no, it's not suitable for me. I can't say that I'm in this way.
well, that's good because this is when that type becomes healthy. So that means so it's good that you're not too helpful. In other words.
Okay, I see.
Because you need some time for yourself.
Next, not doing things I really like to do for myself for fear. Oh yeah, that's yeah. Sometimes yeah, it's about me. For fear of being selfish. Yeah, that's right. And issue. You know, it also depends of my mood. Sometimes I have such a sad mood, and I think yes, nobody loves me, and I have so low self-esteem, and you know, it's too hard to live in the world. But sometimes, you know, it's okay, and I feel that everybody loves me, and I love everybody, and everything's okay, and I'm ready to help to, I don't know, who is close to me, and just feel myself good. But you know, this point also, it's about me being upset that others don't tune into me as much as I tune into them. Yes, because I always I'm expecting that they will treat me like I treat them. Don't understand?
Which one? Tactful. Is it the word tactful?
sexual and considerable that I suppress male things. It is hard to detect. That I suppress male things. No, I don't know. Maybe sometimes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, tactful is when
Polite
somebody.
manners.
Yeah, it's polite. It's also when
Polite.
somebody.
I see.
Yeah,
I understand. Okay. Yeah, I see.
and another way of putting it is Balzac, the critic, can sometimes be tactless
Yeah.
because they will just tell the truth and it will
Yeah,
hurt
I
people's
see.
feelings by saying the truth. Whereas when someone is tactful, they said to be
Mhm.
using tact, good judgment, when they either, well, sometimes might tell a little lie and say something like, "No, darling, you look fantastic in that dress," or something like that, or or
Yeah.
or or they might or they're just putting things in the right way. So, for instance, they might say about somebody who's not very clever, they might say he's not the sharpest knife in the
Yes.
drawer.
I understand.
Or
Yes, that's right. It's also about me. Sometimes I do like that, of course.
so so it's a relatively good, and like I said, it's good, the Enneagram, because it does focus on these fears and the aims that people have. So it's very good for therapy. And of course, as you know, Socionics concentrates on other things. So I like the fact that Enneagram is different from Socionics, because then we can have different positives. So that now we can connect with this, what you were like as a child. And what a lovely picture. A very sweet picture there. So I will try to go a little bit more in to, so this is what they're like as twos as children. Let's see how well you connected to this.
Very sensitive to the global and criticism. Yeah, try hard to complete the make of understanding. Proven confidence, popular, and try to reduce the resolution. Practical features of dramatic interpretation. Yeah,
One moment.
I agree with this. That's right.
And we've got
Right.
twos as
Nutrition left well to your children and warm and encouraging. Yeah.
now something I can do, which what I can do is there should be something available for me to see. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, I should have just done this. Right. I might get killed for doing this, but I actually have the book. I will just switch. I might actually get killed for this, but Jonathan has done the same thing. He has shared the screen when he has the PDF of the book. So this is the book. So it's only like Amazon showing little bits of the book. So we will go down here to. So this is the book, The Enneagram Made Easy. Let's try and put the whole page on. Zoom, not Zoom. Browse, selection. Oh no, not selection. Zoom. No, fit width. No. Let's show the whole page. Right, let's go down here. We're looking for the type 2.
Maybe you could find it then share the screen.
Oh, all right. But
If that was quicker.
okay, okay. We'll just which type is this? I'm just trying to get to the 2. Right. Oh, it's Right, that's type 3. So we need to go to the type 2. Right, here we go. Right, here we go. This is the helper. Right, there we go. That's the type 2.
Mhm.
It down a bit to make it a bit wider. Do those things? Ooh, sorry, that went a bit weird. Sorry about that. Oh, it's just gone all crazy again. Oh no! So I will call an end to that. Right, so Jonathan, I'll now pass over to my my good friend here, my good Enneagram friend. Did you want to look at that table of the core
Yes.
fears and fears? Okay, I will now go back to the table. That is the wrong graphic right there. I now got to go visual aids. Yes, very amusing. Yes, we can all fumble around with our graphics. And when you see these people on television freeze when something goes wrong, I would have thought, well, if they'd have done Hangouts, see, there should be a whole new generation of people in the future who are television presenters who have done Google Hangouts, where everything has already gone wrong, and they should be as cool as a cucumber when on live television, and shouldn't go, what do I do?
Well, I'm like that anyway.
Right then.
I was born a professional at this.
Oh yes, he is born to be on this channel. This is his calling in life.
I'm born to act. I'm born to entertain. I've got a talent.
That's the voice,
talent for
Jonathan.
it.
That's the voice to use for Julia. The slightly phased Scottish accent.
So this is Enneagram 2.
Yeah. Well, this is all of them, of course.
Yes.
So we're looking here. So what does ego fixation mean there? Is that like the danger of them? What does that mean, ego fixation?
Yes, I think the danger would be a good point. So for type 2, they have a problem with flattery. They like it when people flatter them, and they like flattering other people in order to be flattered back. That's one of the dangers. So they like it when people are, say good things about them, and they will sometimes say good things about other people so that other people will have a good impression of them.
So can they also sometimes fish for compliments by talking themselves down?
Yes, they can. Or up if it's just them. They will talk themselves down or to whatever will make them look good.
And sometimes it would be conscious, and maybe sometimes they're not really conscious of it.
Most times they won't be conscious of it. I mean,
Sorry, your sound cut out there. Did you say most times they are conscious of it?
Most times they are not.
Ah, not. Right.
And the thing is, they want to look good, but more in the sense of, not in the sense of looking successful, unless they're 2 and 3. They want to look like, they want people to think they are nice. They want people to think they are generous, that they have good intentions, that they are benevolent. So they like to think of themselves as good people, but they also want to be seen as good people, kind people. The problem is that they might be like that in public more than they are in private, but that's when they're less healthy.
So this core desire to feel loved, is that enormous for you, Julia?
Yeah, that's right.
And, if we compare the desires of the other types, so you can say, so Jonathan, by comparison, is an Enneagram type 1. Even though he's an FJ, or rather FP in socialites, or FE ego type, rather. So, Jonathan, what qualities, what is it like when the Enneagram Type 2, the helper, change and integrates towards an Enneagram Type 4?
No, that... Oh, yeah. Well, Enneagram Type 2s tend to be very optimistic, and they like to look on the bright side of things. And pretend that the bad stuff isn't there, or that they're not feeling bad things, so on. So Type 4s are the opposite of that. Type 4s romanticize their dark side. They are more in touch with the darker sides of life. So this is basically what a Type 2 learns to accept that, and they learn to accept that sometimes they're being kind for selfish reasons. That doesn't mean they become more selfish necessarily, it just means that they're learning to accept that there's a difference between being genuinely generous and doing things just for selfish reasons.
Right, so they become more self-aware, more
Yes.
self-knowledge.
And more in touch with their darker emotions like anger and envy, and so I'm more aware of those emotions, but not necessarily in a negative way. They can also become more creative, more expressive when they be like that, because they're not doing it for show. They're being in touch with their own feelings. That's it.
Julia, do you have any creative pursuits? Things that you like, writing, drawing, music?
Do I have what?
Creative outlets. Do you like to be artistic, or with music, with painting, or with writing?
Yes,
Do you like to do any of those things?
Music is a very important part of my life. Just I can't live without that. Yeah, but I don't compose or just don't play, but I like to listen. I don't know. Just maybe like.
Have you ever sang?
What?
Have you ever sung? Have you ever sung music?
Yes, I like it, but I don't create it. So. Yeah.
Right. Have you ever done? Do you like doing? Have you ever done karaoke?
Yeah.
What happened there, Jonathan? You might went off and you had a bit of a smile.
Well, I was looking up something else, but then you said karaoke, and that made me laugh. Karaoke just makes me smile.
Right, because I know an ESFJ that loves karaoke, but she happens to be an extremely good singer. Because from what I could judge by, she sang down the phone to me. Bloody hell, it was good. Right. Right, and we're talking about a 10 out of 10 ESFJ here. Right. Right. So yeah. Jonathan, could you please talk about how the temptation of the Type 2 and the manipulation, what that sort of looks like?
Basically, they start to feel like they are not being loved enough. They want others to love them, and they manipulate others into doing that. So again, they're being kind in order to be thanked or be praised for it. So they'll give people presents, hoping that this person will appreciate them more, or they might try and make people feel guilty in order to make them appreciate them more. But they don't want to admit it to themselves that they have this need for all of the things, instead that they deserve it more than they do. So it's about becoming very needy, becoming dependent on other people.
And trapping other people into dependency, and maybe them becoming codependent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Jonathan, just some of our audience might not know what codependent means. So do you want to tell them?
It's when two people need each other, but not in a healthy way. So they're both using each other basically for their own neurotic needs. You can see this with people who have addictions, for example, or people who are in unhealthy relationships. So for the type 2, that would be they are either convincing someone that this other person needs them, or they are themselves convinced that they need someone else, and they will let themselves be convinced by this other person, or sometimes both. So even when really they're just, it's not necessarily because of love, it's because of a neurotic need. Like they're using each other basically.
The starkest example I can give of codependency is when you see these stories in the newspaper of say a man who is like 50 stones, so he weighs like 400 pounds, he can't get out of bed, and you think about the person that keeps feeding them, even though they're past that point. The person who's it's like, so the person who is in the bed and can't move and is being fed all the while, they're dependent. And the person that is feeding them is the codependent person. And it's like, I always think about, well, what about
they're both codependent. And,
yeah.
But you can also have things like an abusive parent, usually stereotypically a mother, who controls their children and convinces their children that they need them, when really, by faking illnesses, for example, or saying, think of all the things I've done for you and you're not grateful to me, and so on. There's also a really unhealthy type 2 in fiction would be Guldo Katz from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Think of him, but that's another story.
Oh, right. The Cardassians were the most interesting thing about that series, especially was the this slightly gay Taylor was very interesting. Garrick.
Yeah.
Oh, and the actor tried to deny it, but he definitely played him as gay. Right. Right. So this interests me. The holy idea of freedom and will. What does that mean? I mean, a lot of people looking at it would go, is that a typo?
Well, not sure actually. Let me think about that. That doesn't make much sense to me. I'm trying comparing it to the other types. So
yeah, see if they'll switched it round.
Okay, so I can see why a 1 would want perfection. I can see why a 5 would want knowledge, and a 6 would want faith. Nope, I'm lost. I don't know why that is. I cannot explain that one.
Well, that's good because I thought I was going crazy. And then there's one here, vice, pride.
Yes, pride is the vice of type 2 because
Ooh.
it's because they like to think of themselves as good, as kind and benevolent. So they're taking pride in that they're the good people. They're better than other people in some ways because other people are obviously not as good as they are, not as kind as they are, not as generous as they are.
Ooh, nervous smile from Julia. Have you had these thoughts, Julia?
True.
Tell us about how you're better than other people.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I think like this. What
Yeah.
can I say? But it's interesting for me this holy idea, freedom and will. Yeah, I want to ask you why.
Yeah,
Actually, yes, I feel like that. Yes, freedom is very important for me, but
Right.
what can you
And
say
what-
more about this?
Well,
we
don't.
think
we
it
don't
might be an
know.
error. We think it might be an error in the graphic.
We don't know, but maybe it's
It might be a mistake.
Yeah.
maybe it's more that they think they need other people, but they want to not need other
To
people.
be freedom, to be free, to be independent.
Yes. So maybe it's more that they're being less healthy type 2s think they need other people, and so they manipulate or they become dependent on other people. But really deep down, they don't want to need other people. They want to be able to stand by themselves and not have to constantly please other people in order to.
Jonathan, have you got Risa and Hudson's personality types, the PDF? Because then you could show, because like the first 2 pages of it, because then we've got some stuff we can show Julia about the healthy, average, and then unhealthy, and then examples. And then I'll just.
1 second. We will get sued one day.
Yeah, but we're actually promoting the book. Right, so.
And when I say we, I mean Ben.
Yes.
Okay, so healthy and 2s are empathic.
Oh, has it got the beautiful drawing on it as well? There we go, look at that, isn't that nice?
Yes.
Lovely.
Healthy 2s are empathic, compassionate. They're feeling with and for others. They're concerned about their own needs. They're outgoing and passionate. They offer friendship and kindness. They are thoughtful, warm-hearted, forgiving and sincere. They are encouraging and appreciative. They're able to see the good in others. Dedicated and supportive people, bringing out the best in them. Service is important. They are nurturing, generous and giving. Truly loving people. At their best, deeply unselfish, humble and altruistic. Giving unconditional love to themselves and to others. They feel it is a privilege to be in other people's lives. They're radiantly joyful and gracious. So that's what a very healthy 2 is like. They're genuinely happy for other people. They're genuinely generous. They're genuinely kind. So
That's true, that bit there, genuinely happy for people. So if you tell them about a success that you've had, like they are genuinely happy for people being successful. They don't feel any kind of, that level, they don't any kind of envy or anything like that. They're generally happy for people at that level.
who are you talking to?
Well, you, Jonathan, both of you, the audience. Everyone in the world.
Well, you said to give an example, so I thought
Oh.
you were talking to Julie.
Oh no. Oh, sorry. It might have been the way I phrased things.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what that would mean. That's just being kind for the sake of being kind. You know, not expecting anything in return.
Yeah. Now, I was just giving an example that I've seen that in real life, that E2s can be like that, where they are genuinely happy for people's success.
Mm. Well, can you give examples? Since you've seen it.
Yes, I don't.
Maybe just make
It's
up.
not something I can say in public.
How about you use real people with fake names, or something?
Actually, I don't know anything in Anyway, it's a private thing, so I won't talk about it. Right.
Okay. So, less healthy twos engage in people pleasing in order to be close to others. They become overly friendly, emotionally demonstrative, and full of good intentions. They are seductive, they bestow seductive attention on others, they approval, strokes, flattery. They become very talkative, especially about love in their relationships. They become overly intimate and intrusive. They need to be needed, so they hover, meddle, and control in the name of love. Want others to depend on them. They give, but they expect things in return. Send mixed messages. Envelop and possessive, self-sacrificing, parenting persons who cannot do enough for others, wearing themselves out for everyone, creating needs for themselves to fulfill, increasingly self-important and self-satisfied, feel they are indispensable, although they can overrate their efforts in others' behalf, seek specific forms of repayment for their help, hypochondria, which means they're worried that they're sick all the time.
When they're not.
When they're not. They become a martyr for others, overbearing, patronising, presumptuous. So, is any of this ringing any bells?
Yeah, that's a bit cheeky.
So, I mean, do you ever feel like that on a bad day?
I might use that as a type interaction moment.
No. And when unhealthy, manipulative and self-serving, instilling guilt by making others feel indebted to them, abuse food and medications to stuff feelings and get sympathy, undermine people by making belittling, disparaging remarks, extremely self-deceptive about their motives and how selfish, aggressive their behaviour is, dominating, coercive, feeling entitled to get anything they want from others and are bitterly resentful or angry, somatization of their aggressions. I don't know what that word means.
It might mean, because somatic is like parts of the body, like somites, it might mean that things appear in parts of their body, like physical manifestations of things.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I know. I see.
Of their aggressions result in chronic health problems, and they vindicate themselves by falling apart and murdering others. So, yeah.
Right, and then the key motivations is are very good. Oh, you took it off the screen.
Sorry.
She might know some of these examples as well. Right, so want to be loved. Yes.
Want to be loved, to express their feelings for others, to be needed and appreciated, to get others to respond to them, to vindicate their claims about themselves.
Yeah, for me it's very important to express my feelings to others. I needed just to share with someone my feelings. Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Right.
I don't know how many of these people you know, Ilya. Mother Teresa.
Some of
Archbishop Desmond.
she might be a different type,
Yeah.
probably less healthy. But
Ooh. But she's of your faith, Jonathan. Ooh, controversial. Has she been sainted, Mother Teresa?
she has been beatified but not sainted, not canonised.
Oh, okay.
It's a controversial thing, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh yes, because they in order to be a saint, don't you have to be have to have actually performed a miracle?
You can perform. No, you have to die first, then perform miracles.
Oh right.
That's not why it's controversial. It's controversial because she has been criticised, and I will leave it at that.
Okay. I don't really know these people. Florence Nightingale, I'm not so sure about that. Florence Nightingale was a bit of a hard-nosed hospital administrator, and I think she might have invented the pie chart. She wasn't Mary Seacole. Now, do you know who Mary Seacole is?
Yes, she's the black equivalent.
Yeah, half Scottish, half black. I think her father was Scottish.
She was Jamaican, and she ran a hotel, and then she went to serve in the Crimean War, but she wasn't accepted, so she just started her own thing and helped out the soldiers.
And she was one of an incidence of black history being written out. Like, she was very popular in her day, and a friend of Queen Victoria.
I think she was an ESFP or ENFP or something.
She had a lot of spirit.
Yes.
Yes, Mary. There should definitely be a movie about Mary Seacole. You think that'd be fantastic? Right. Yes, the Jewish mother stereotype. Yes. Yes, that makes sense.
Okay. Well, just probably stop screen sharing now.
Right, okay. So then, right, we did the humility advice. So then we've got. I also have the graphic. The graphic that Jonathan is not necessarily the biggest fan of, but because it does repeat itself, but it's got some interesting things in it. This is Nick Helbig's graphics, and I actually researched at who I think it's a woman in Singapore, Nick Helbig. That's her graphic for the. There's sort of a lot there. She's just like throwing a lot at the screen. Now this here, anti-intellectual emotionality. But in the case of Julia, I think you studied philosophy. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's more that they're putting their feelings and big feelings above facts, basically. That's the main thing. Yeah, how they feel and how others feel, because that reflects on them and so on. So though, that's like someone who's, if they're avoiding hard truths to make people feel better or to look better and so on.
Now, when they say here seductiveness, now I would see that as a positive trait, but are they saying that's a negative trait?
Well, it's more of a sexual instinct trait, so of course you see it as positive. I don't think they've got it as well. Yeah, they do have kind of as negative. It's negative when you're, doing it for the sake of doing it or for selfish ends, like manipulation for love. That's what they're saying.
I would like there's something that Julie was saying before. I'll go back to this in a moment. But Julie was saying something before we went live. Julie, before you joined us, Jonathan, she was talking about not knowing. So Julie, can you tell us that thing you were saying before about not knowing when to interfere with someone, and then you were talking about that, about that you worry sometimes about helping people too much or things. If you could talk about that again, because that wasn't recorded.
Yes, I'm afraid sometimes not to help too much people, to disturb them, to be, I don't know, that they will tire from me, from my help, from my attention. So I want, I don't know, sometimes I think that I should be more independent from people than I am. So just, you know, sometimes I cannot define where is this measure where I can be useful and where I can be obtrusive, you know. So sometimes it's difficult for me to be so yeah, I have such a fear, and I don't know how to deal with it actually.
So Jonathan, which other types could Julia be if she's not a 2?
ISFJs are usually 2s or 6s. Sometimes they are 1s or 9s, I think. I don't think there can be any other types, to be honest. They're not liable to other types.
No.
That much. I'm wondering if they could be 3s, but I'm not. Possibly 3s, but generally 2s and 9s, 6s, and 1s. Like, I cannot. It's very hard to imagine an ISFJ who is a 7 or an 8 or a 4 or 5. And even if they're very intelligent, that doesn't mean they're a 5 or anything.
I'll ask Julia a little bit of a personal question. What interests you about philosophy, Julia?
You mean my like which philosophy is?
Well, yeah, I think you did it as a subject because your Facebook profile says that you studied philosophy.
Yes. You know, actually, I like Eastern philosophy, Hinduist views. No, yeah, like, you know, concepts of karma, of reincarnation, such thing. But if to say about Western philosophy, then I can say about Erich Fromm, Jung, or Frankl. So I think it's my favorite philosophers. Also, I was interested in transpersonal psychology, you know, growth, some altered conditions of consciousness, something like that.
Now, what's interesting here is, so is it, because Fromm actually did some temperaments that were like Kurz's temperaments, I think. Did he have something like, in 1947, exploitative, hoarding, receptive, and marketing as sort of like categories of people?
Actually, I was really interested in the main problems for me. Always was problem of sense of life. You know, that's, I think, the most important philosophical questions for me. Always such. to find the sense of life, sense of human life. So, and you know, now for me it's like I opened it for me, I revealed, like the sense of life is in love, just to feel love, to learn how to love people, yourself, universe, God. So like
So,
now,
so you studied philosophy in order to find out more about yourself.
yeah.
So it says here, I think you said Eric Fromm. Did you say Eric Fromm?
Yes, I said.
Yeah. Because this relates to Kersey, because he wrote, because Kersey's system is very similar to lots of other people's, because Kersey was saying that his temperament system has been replicated throughout time, and that Eric Fromm had a similar system to Kersey. And the sentence here is, also in 1947, Eric Fromm, looking at both negative and positive sides of personality, as did Kretschmer, attributed 4 different orientations to the 4 styles: exploitative, hoarding, receptive, and marketing. And those are very similar to the Kersey's artisans, and so it's these systems have been there throughout time. These same 4 groupings of people, the ancient temperaments. So that's cool. So yeah. So did you also say that you liked developmental psychology?
Actually, I said about transpersonal psychology.
Oh, what does that mean?
It means, you know, altered state of consciousness. You know, Stanislav Grof and his conception of. Actually, they have some experiments with LSD, for example, with meditation, and so on. No, haven't you heard about it? No.
Jonathan, this stuff should really interest you. What Julia's talking about. This should be in your wheelhouse of interests.
I haven't heard of this stuff. For the names.
But you have an interest in psychology and
yeah, but I would say transpersonal psychology. That sounds a bit different.
Yeah. So, Julia, have you looked at mental disorders like categories such as schizoid and borderline personality disorder, things like that?
Sorry?
Have you looked into mental disorders? You know, when people become psychopaths or things like that, or when it looks like an unhealthy ESTP, an unhealthy Zucker. Right.
Mental illness. No.
Actually, I don't understand question. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Mental illness. Have you studied mental illness?
You mean with this transpersonal psychology?
No. Have you studied other types of psychology?
I'll interpret for Jonathan. Have you studied other types of psychology?
Oh my god.
Okay. I'll put it differently. Which areas of philosophy have you studied?
Which area of philosophy?
Sorry, I meant psychology. Sorry, my bad. Which areas of psychology? Sorry.
Okay, in English now I should do. Is it in English? It's about psychoanalysis. So psychology of Jung. What else?
That would be a good way for you to connect with Victor, because Victor Galenko is a Jungian.
Yeah.
So you could communicate with him about Jungian stuff. So that's good.
Yeah. Okay, so you think that I'm the second type, yes, of this
Yeah.
system?
You probably are a type 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Possibly.
So great. Thank you very much, guys, for your
It's all right.
actually that you helped me to understand what is it. Actually, you Ben gave me a lot of information and you explained me many things today. So thank you very much. Because by myself, you know, I wouldn't do it so good. So thank you very much, and
All right.
you too, Jonathan. It was
Okay.
a
Okay.
good experience.
Well, it is, yeah, because it is coming up to about 10:52 in Poland
Yeah.
at the time. Yeah, so I can
Yeah.
feel the wind up. I can feel the. So yes, so hopefully you can join us in future hangouts,
Yeah.
Julia. And we have a friend, Wojtek, who can speak Polish. So
Yeah, I can speak Polish, Russian. Yeah.
very good,
So,
very good.
I'm sorry for my English, for my misunderstandings. Sorry.
It's been pretty good, and I think you've done quite well understanding Jonathan. I mean, other people I know whose names.
Sorry, Jonathan.
I did quite well. It's the Americans that have some Americans that have the problem. Rachel, no problem for Rachel. She lives near to Canada. She can understand you, no problem. It's those that live further down south.
Okay.
Well, Rachel's an ENFJ, isn't she? So.
Pardon?
Rachel's an ENFJ, isn't she? Oh, we thought of a different Rachel.
Oh, yeah, talking about Rachel. Almost said the surname, but you know the Rachel that lives near Canada.
Do you mean the INFP or the? I don't buy types.
The INFP one.
Okay, all right.
That one.
Okay. I don't know where they live. A vague general idea.
Yeah, she lives in Michigan, near the border with
All right.
Canada. Her children even sound Canadian. So I refer to her children as the Canadians. And she's the one that she could understand only fools and horses. Quite easily, she could understand what Del Boy was saying. I don't know, it's a weird thing. Texans? Not a clue.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Okay,
actually, I have to go.
Yes, I got that impression. My inferior FE picked up on that. So thanks again, Julie. You could join us again for future hangouts.
Thank you very much.
We could have one with Victor when you've done the SEI profile. We could have one with Dr. G.
Yeah.
We could maybe discuss. We could have one where where he could type you in his system, and then we could maybe do subtypes. So that's.
I'll need to go as well, I think.
Okay, I will do the wind up then. So it is for the audience. It is goodbye from me, your host.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
From the co-host. Goodbye from Julia. I'm just going to stop the hangout now.